released an initial statement last week where he discussed his involvement in the federal government's investigation into the 2016 election interference, though he wasn't super specific. He said he assisted in investigations related to the Clintons and Russia. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Sony released this week the Nasal HD 340s, a brand new pair of high-quality nose buds designed to let users blast different scents into their nostrils throughout the day. The Onion let consumers across the nation sound off about their excitement for the new product.
I've always got them in my nose. At work, at the gym, on the bus, wherever. These days, I can't stop smelling tennis ball.
Retailing for $49.99, the nose buds accompany the launch of Sony's new online odor store, which sells over 22,000 different smells for download and immediate inhalation. Still, not everyone is quite as enthusiastic about the new product.
These things suck. I mean, a lot of times it only works out of the right nostril. The other day I tried smelling picnic table. It smelled more like hardwood floor. And also, to be honest, I have a really hard time breathing with these things on.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Welcome to another live Saturday edition of the program. You are welcome to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. That allows you to join us here and sound almost like you're sitting in the studio. And in the studio with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Mark, having just gotten back, yesterday? Late Thursday?
Late Thursday from Singapore, and prior to that was Seoul. Yeah.
You went out there to visit with the proprietor at Bitcoin.com.
That's right, Roger Ver. I did guest hosted on his YouTube channel, and that was a lot of fun.
At Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel. I watched actually both of those. You did two different shows.
That's correct.
With him. One of them was kind of just a normal episode of their regular, I think, weekend, once a week kind of series.
Weekly show where they sort of go over what's happening in the crypto sphere. And Bitcoin.com really is the place to go to find out, whether you're new or old, what's going on in the crypto sphere.
It seems more like a Bitcoin Cash-focused show. There's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't say they're covering the entire crypto sphere. That's a hard thing to do.
They aren't covering the entire crypto sphere, but they're covering a lot of high points, and a lot of things are happening with Bitcoin Cash, whereas many other of these cryptocurrencies out there, including
sort of dead in the water,
the legacy BTC, they just aren't having as much going on.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much.
And I imagine you picked up on some juicy bits off the air. You mentioned that during the conversation. So
things that are going on.
There's cool stuff going on that you can't even talk about.
That's correct. I really told Roger I didn't want to talk too much about generally what was going on that I couldn't talk about. And there's so much going on right now that we could talk about.
There's so much to talk about. Yeah. Of course, we got other stuff in the news here, and we'll get into that with Donald Trump ordering businesses in the United States to do X, Y, or Z. We'll tell you what that was all about here in just a moment. The other show that you and Roger did was more kind of like a retrospective of how you both came to Bitcoin. Like, what was your path, your story, how did it happen? And that was kind of an interesting interview, video, whatever you want to call it.
Right, because he heard about Bitcoin from the guy known as Bitcoin Jesus, and the owner of Bitcoin.com found out about Bitcoin from listening to Free Talk Live.
Yeah, and it's amazing we haven't
2011.
Yeah, it's amazing we haven't gotten a ton of haters because of that. Because Roger has everything he says whenever he tweets something. For instance, he doesn't tweet a whole lot, but once a day or once every couple days or whatever. it's just like this avalanche of nasty responses of just mean, vitriolic people who just hate him.
He believes that they're many of them are paid to do what they do.
Interesting.
And it explains the passion with which people come at him. I mean,
I don't know. There's occultism that's built in with religion. It's built in with politics. It's built in certainly with certain people who love their favorite crypto, and they war with each other on these Twitters and social medias and such. It's not. I don't think it's a paid thing. There's people out there who shill for Ripple. There's people out there who shill for all kinds. Shill's not the right word. That suggests they are paid.
Yes,
but people out there who are just obsessed with one particular crypto. They believe that they have found the correct crypto, just like religion, where anybody that doesn't have their right crypto, well, they've got to convert them.
Yes.
And if they won't convert, then they hate them. And I don't think it's necessarily that people are getting paid, but that could be the case. That's a hard theory to prove. You know?
Well, it's interesting that Free Talk Live gets none of it.
I'm grateful for it, honestly.
I mean, not none. We've had very little. There's been a handful of people who over time have pointed out that we're wrong in some manner or another.
I wish they'd pointed out on the air with us, because it's a lot more interesting to actually have a real conversation than this back and forth on a social media thing that I'm so glad I'm pretty much away from now that I'm not on Facebook anymore.
Every time I make a post on a comment on somebody's post, sort of in the spirit of correcting some little thing that they might have wrong in their thinking or whatever. No. Yeah. Every time I regret it. Every time. It's so awful.
Yeah.
I mean, social media sucks. If you're exchanging pictures of your kids or your vacation or recipes or something like that, man, it's great for that. That's awesome. It's a really nice place to exchange the sort of things that people aren't going to argue about. But once you get into issues where people want to argue, it's just it's no fun at all. It sucks.
No, and it's very rare that anybody can really listen or have their mind changed in a situation like that. Perhaps observers might be able to be influenced. That's the old excuse. Oh, well, there might be people watching who blah, blah, blah. It's still an exhausting
If somebody's going to be convinced, they're not going to be convinced by you, prancing around using cuss words and, talking about how smart you are or anything like that. That doesn't work. That's not the way you convince people. Use terms like perhaps and have you ever thought? Things like that are much more likely to get even the audience to start paying attention.
Whether you want to talk about...
don't you think it's a good idea to get onto the main topic?
Yeah, we'll get into that. Just you're back. Not many people get to go places like you went. So I kind of wanted to ask you about your trip. I mean, you and I didn't talk too much while you were there. I mean, we exchanged a couple messages, but you're doing your Asia thing, and I went to Japan earlier this year. Some of our listeners
I went too, but they kicked me out.
Yeah, you made it there. You made it to the airport.
Turns out a conviction when you're 17 years old. Nope, that's not an excuse. You're getting out of here.
Just to be clear, it was your felony conviction for which you spent more than a year in prison. Had it been less than a year, they probably would have let you in. But apparently Korea does not have the same restriction, nor did Singapore.
Right. And it worked out for Korea and Singapore because I spent money there.
Yeah.
As opposed to Tokyo, which missed out on whatever tourist dollars I'd have. It's really sort of a silly rule, but whatever.
Hey, they got 35 million people there. They don't really need you.
Yeah, they don't really need me. Fine. Everything's fine.
So, we've talked a lot in the past about the economically free places, right? The list of the economically free places in the world, the most in order. There's a couple different good lists out there that do either yearly or every other year
Singapore
study.
Generally shows up very close to the top.
Singapore is normally number 2, and I don't think it's been displaced from number 2 in quite a long time. It's right behind Hong Kong, which people could argue is not really a country, but then again, neither is Singapore. Like, isn't it just like a city-state? What's the deal with Singapore?
It's bigger than that, but not much bigger than that.
So Hong Kong generally gets number 1, and it has for many, many years. Of course, there's a lot of uprising, unrest. There's a lot of protests going on there in Hong Kong, which continue through to this day. It's still going on there over the last several weeks, if not few months. And so you didn't go to Hong Kong. That wasn't part of the plan. But looking at Singapore, you spent, 4 days? How many days were you there?
About 4 days.
About 4 days in Singapore. So a little bit of time, get to take the city in. What were your impressions of the place?
It is not as clean. Look, Tokyo's known for being extraordinarily clean.
Yeah, I would
Seoul
say it was pretty clean where I
is
was.
a pretty darn clean place. It's like a poor man's Tokyo, I'd say is the best way to describe it. Safe as it could be. I mean, the people are rigorously honest and that sort of thing. And, there's all kinds of people out cleaning all the time.
I like that.
I like that too. Who doesn't
nice.
like that? That's great. Singapore, not quite as clean in so much as this is just a little dustier, that kind of thing. But you could sort of feel the capitalism.
Really?
Everybody's trying to make a
selling
living.
something.
Yeah, they're trying to sell something, trying to make a living, and I always appreciate that. I got a suit. So
You're wearing it right now. Those of you who want to see it can go to dlive.lrn.fm.
That's right. And you can get suits a little more cheaply out, in Singapore and other places in the world.
It's closer to the manufacturer.
Then you can, and this thing's custom fitted and all that stuff. So, it's not off the rack. Although I don't deviate that much from the rack anyway. I got a 36-inch waist and I don't know, like 46-inch chest or whatever. And I mean, it was just great to be able to walk into these places. Customer service was high. English was widely spoken.
Really?
Not quite as much in Seoul, but in Singapore, certainly. It's hard to find somebody who doesn't speak some form of English.
Wow.
Something. I mean, it doesn't fit to my southern roots sort of English, but they speak English.
They might not know what grits are.
I didn't eat a grit. By the way, if you are, if you have to drink decaf coffee like me, you better bring it with you because
doesn't exist over there.
These places in the world, what they call decaf is not decaffeinated.
You found out the hard way, I bet. Huh?
More than once.
855 450 free. Didn't you have trouble getting decaf in Mexico as well?
If it's not in the U.S., I don't drink it.
More on the way here. This is Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
You know who likes being bossed around by a wife, girlfriend, or boss at work? No one. Living a life like that won't make you happy. There's another way to live. You can live a life where you have full financial and sexual freedom and do what you want. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live Saturday show. We're talking Mark's traveling experiences here. But coming up, Donald Trump ordering all businesses in the United States to, well, follow his order. And we'll get into that coming up here and why he really can't do that. I mean, he did it, but we'll get into it. So with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You went to Asia for, 10 days or something like that? It was
a week and a half. Than that. With travel, it was 8 days.
Oh, okay, because, you were actually, that's right. You had like 25, 29-hour travel days.
Yeah, there was one was 36.
Because when we went to Japan, we managed to find a direct flight. And so it really was only about like 15 hours to get there.
Still miserable.
Still hard, but yours was much worse going out there this time. But you went to go visit Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com, longtime sponsor here on Free Talk Live. And of course, we've told you a lot about their recent launch. It's actually maybe 2 months now, through 2.5, 3 months almost, that local.bitcoin.com has been open for business. And it allows people like you, maybe, to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash. There's dozens of payment methods there. And some of these payment methods, there's so many of them you can't even use some of them because they're only good for people in China or whatever. So it's an international site. PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, or just meet somebody in person and pay them with cash or accept cash. Local.bitcoin.com is where you can go. There's no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So you finally have a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Now, one of the things that you talked about on the Bitcoin.com newscast thing that you co-hosted with Roger was their exchange that they are launching at the very beginning of September. That was one of the things that I couldn't talk about when I got back from Tokyo that he had told me that they were doing, and I'm glad that they finally got, they're getting it off the ground.
Right, you can go sign up, get your account, get sort of set up in a head.
Well, in theory, if you're in the United States, that's going to be a tricky thing to do.
If you're in the United States and know how to use a VPN.
Yeah, you said that on the air, and he didn't correct you about it. I think because he probably just wanted to move along and not really, get into the details of that. But I suspect that unless they're allowing accounts with no identification whatsoever, which seems unusual, it could happen, like a lower kind of tier account where you don't get to trade very much, that kind of thing. Because it's an exchange and because they are going to be in custody of customer funds, they are going to have to do some level of know your customer, likely on everybody that signs up. So if you use a VPN but you present a passport that shows you being in the United States,
not going to work as well.
It's going to be over for you, at least at that point.
A lot of the exchanges used to have this sort of lower...
The entry level.
Not, basically anonymous trading thing.
Yeah, Binance was one of those, and I don't know. I think they probably got rid of that after some amount of time, but I don't know.
Several of them.
And I don't know.
They all basically are like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, right? So they're this organization where you can buy and sell virtual commodities, and just like any other, monetary institution. They have to follow these KYC, know your customer regulations.
Yeah. So I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, I put my email address in over at exchange.bitcoin.com. But just, if you're in the United States, that's what Roger said was the one country that they're not going to be servicing when they launched the thing.
I hear there's a Nigerian prince that will help you just set up a foreign account.
Is that right?
Take care of stuff.
Just give him $1 million or however many dollars you have, and he'll take care of it, right?
Yep.
So you were kind of telling us about your experience in mostly Singapore, I think, so far, but a little bit about Seoul, South Korea. That was where you went first, was South Korea. You were saying that in Singapore you could feel the capitalism, you could feel the marketplace. The people
it's really happening.
Were they're out there, so they're selling stuff. Was it the kind of thing where people are like bugging you in the street constantly to buy something, like, hey, buy my flowers or whatever?
There's a little bit of that. So there's this interesting phenomenon that I'm going to point out that is difficult for Westerners, I think, to understand. I certainly didn't get it. The bars there have these people.
I want to talk about this. Hold on. Every bar, or is it certain types of bars?
Some bars.
Okay.
Have these people lots of women, right? So
beautiful women,
attractive women that will basically.
Just to be clear, is this Singapore or Seoul and Singapore?
Both.
Okay.
That they stand outside the bar in order to entice you to come in. So I walked by some of these in Singapore, but we went in one in Seoul.
I see.
And it was called a bikini bar, and
hey, all right.
No one had any bikinis on.
Wait,
that's
right.
False
advertising.
Well, they probably don't exactly know what that means. Anyway, so no one's wearing bikinis. We go in.
All right, I'm disappointed.
They were just getting started for the evening. It was a little earlier. Roger wanted me to see what one of these things was like, and so you buy a bottle of liquor, and these gals will come and hang out with you and talk to you and act interested in you. I really don't know how else to describe it. They seemed very interested in us. They were talking to us.
They're presumably trained in being a good conversationalist, how to ask questions and, show interest in the person with whom you're speaking, right? I'm just guessing.
Yeah, they're hostesses.
Yeah.
But they're a host for you. So it's like an account executive that just sort of works with you. And they pour drinks out of your bottle. They find you mixers. They'll order appetizers. Don't you think you'd like such and such? And so the appetizers come and these kind of things, and then they talk to you about whatever. I talked about what my dogs, my kids, my business, whatever.
The longer they can get you to talk, the more drinks you're going to have, the longer they're going to get you to talk, right?
And this lady got hammered, by the way. Johnny Walker Blue Label.
So they're not faking it. They're really drinking.
Well, so that apparently is one of the things that they've got this ice bucket, and sometimes they'll dump some of their liquor off in the ice bucket, so that they're not getting hammered and you are.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You're not keeping up, as it were.
Are they dumping it in front of you?
Well, they won't let you know.
Right.
That's not the idea.
Okay.
I mean, who wants their Johnny
Are they walking
Walker
away and dumping? Like, where are they?
They're tricky, Ian.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just wondering how it works.
They're people that know their business, and so but that's not what was going on at our table.
No, she was drinking.
She was drinking.
She's like, this is a perk.
As a matter of fact, Roger mentioned
they pay me to sit here and get drunk with guys.
Roger Ver mentioned this, that this is one of the things that goes on. She's like, smell the bucket. So she wanted
to prove.
Right. I'm drinking.
Right.
And she was drinking. I can tell you. I can assure you that she, that was a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue between 4 people, and I don't think Roger drank anything.
So was it 2 ladies and then the 2 of you?
Yes. Mine didn't speak English very well, but she was nice, as some attractive woman who doesn't speak English could be.
Sure.
So, anyway, it's neat.
What time of the day was this that you went in there?
This is evening, probably early evening, call it 9
busy? Was it busy in there?
No, there weren't very many at this time. I think it gets busier later.
Really?
But I'm a convert on this. I think
you were skeptical at first.
Sure, I would have called these people hookers. Would have been the term. But if you go into a bar,
you don't get to take this girl home.
No,
that doesn't work that way. She's like, come back next time.
Everything's for sale in this world, but no, that's not what occurred. Bar's a strange atmosphere anyway. You go in there, you drink a drink, and you stare at the wall. If you're not going in with somebody, so this is a friend to chat with that the bar provides. It's kind of cool.
All right, so we'll continue your calls and thoughts. Have you ever been to one of these bars? Is there a name for this kind of bar?
I don't have an answer for that.
Type of bar that this is. 855-450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Fact. The new NSA data center in Utah requires 1.7 million gallons of water every single day to operate. Billions of Fourth Amendment violations need massive computers and the water to cool them. That water is being supplied by the state of Utah. Fact. There's absolutely nothing in the Constitution which requires your state to help the feds violate your rights. Our message to Utah: turn it off. No water equals no NSA data center. Visit offnow.org.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. All you have to do is dial in toll free. We're talking about Mark's trip to Asia, Singapore, as well as South Korea. And of course, you know, me being completely unfamiliar with world geography in a lot of ways, I figured they were closer than they were. Turns out it's a 6-hour flight from one to the next.
I wouldn't claim to have known the distance in hours.
Like
flown.
Singapore's way south compared to.
It was hot.
It's a lot hotter there.
Yeah, I would say that the weather during the summer is comparable to Florida.
Tropical, yeah.
But Florida winters can get cool, as you know. You and I are from Sarasota, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it gets down in the 20s, sometimes in the teens in Florida. When orange juice prices go up, you know that we had a rough winter. And it doesn't do that in Singapore. It's either hot or wet is what they claim. Now, here's some awesome guy stuff. Do you feel stuck in a job or relationship or both? Caleb Jones has taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. 2.0 alpha males have learned how to break free and how to truly live. Shouldn't you be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and not have to ask permission or answer to anyone so long as you don't hurt anybody? To date whomever you want, even if you're already in a relationship. Living in a free society isn't going to help you much if your life isn't free. Visit freelifeinfo.com and download the Alpha Male 2.0 starter pack for free.
What was that website?
It's freelifeinfo.com.
Okay.
freelifeinfo.com. Included are 7 free books and a podcast, so you can start living a truly free life right now. The Alpha Male 2.0 starter pack will show you the exact strategies Caleb and his team use to get better with women, increase their income and personal freedom and happiness. Get your free Alpha Male 2.0 starter pack at freelifeinfo.com. It's, again, freelifeinfo.com.
Now, as somebody who doesn't spend a whole lot of time in bars whatsoever, you've been talking about, that's me, you've been talking about going to these whiskey talk bars, which is what somebody on the online suggested they might be referred to in Asia, where there's pretty girls. You buy apparently an entire bottle. You couldn't just buy shots; you had to buy the whole bottle.
The bottle was. I didn't buy the bottle. Roger had apparently had a bottle there from a previous time, and they'll hold the bottle for you.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Put his name on it. Like, okay,
pretty much.
I'll be back.
I don't know what you pay for these things.
Yeah. Well, online it says here it was like $200 for one bottle. So yeah, I guess you would want them to hold on to that if that was a service that they offered.
It was a Johnny Walker Blue Label, so it's not exactly
is that fancy
cheap,
or something.
It is, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, you said you're a convert on these things, where a pretty lady brings you in, you buy a bottle of whiskey, you sit down and you drink it together, and she talks to you.
Right.
She asks you likely questions about yourself, would be my guess.
I personally do not want to sit there and take shots of whiskey if I could avoid it. I would prefer to have some sort of mixer, but they weren't really interested in mixers.
They didn't have that, huh?
They didn't really have anything.
Wow.
You
would think they would want to have mixers because it would elongate the time likely that you're sitting there. If you just pound a bunch of shots back, you're going to get S-faced relatively quickly, whereas if you put something else in there, some Coke or whatever, then it's going to last longer. It's going to take you longer to drink them.
Yeah, that makes some sense to me. But
the longer you're there, I guess
it's their job to sell whiskey, though. So
true. They don't want you to stay there a long time.
Not there to sell cranberry juice or
Good
whatever.
Point.
So I don't know.
So these girls talk to you until you decide to leave, I suppose. And you said that in the bar you went to, you didn't actually have to pay a girl fee. That it was just sort of included in the price of the bottle of whiskey, basically.
I presume.
Yeah.
They made their money somehow.
Some of them do apparently charge a girl to sit down kind of extra fee sort of thing. But the whole point, at least it seems in America, of bars is to supposedly meet people, right? Like, you can go in and drink alone. Obviously, there's people that do that with bars. But a lot of people go to a bar for the purpose of meeting people. I suppose these bars aren't like that, right? Because you're talking with a staff member the entire time.
Yeah, this was basically a private little booth situation. You know how when you go to some Japanese restaurants, they'll have that little sectioned off room booth, and it's like a booth, but even more private than a booth.
Yeah,
and that's what this was. So yeah,
So there must be like normal-ish bars where people are in there just open seating and people can mix about.
Right. I went to one bar while I was out, and it was this bar.
This one bar. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to join the conversation here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, Donald Trump has issued an order via Twitter to all American businesses, and it has to do with Chinese trade war nonsense that's been going on. We can certainly get into that. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll talk to Tom in Hudson, New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Tom.
A cop in Houston, Texas, has been charged with 2 counts of murder.
Uh-oh.
In connection with the murder that happened during a drug raid where the SWAT team barged in on a family back on January 28th. And the murder charge, I mean, of course, they all should be sent to, the electric chair because they all participated in a home invasion in which 2 innocent people were murdered. But the murder charge stems from the cop getting caught lying on the sworn affidavit that was the basis of the probable cause, that was the basis for the search warrant in the first place.
Yeah.
And so a cop in Houston, Texas is being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder on that one. And meanwhile,
first-degree murder, meaning premeditated.
No, it's first-degree because people got killed in the course of because of a felony that the cop committed.
Is that a different variant on first degree? I thought first degree was premeditated murder. Am I wrong about that?
That's usually what first degree is. Yeah.
You take a look at the Texas laws, but the other part of it is that yesterday in East St. Louis, Illinois, just across the state line from St. Louis, Missouri, a Illinois SWAT team goon got gunned down, and they won't say what the search warrant was about. Because it was probably the war on drugs.
Good chance.
And
good chance.
What's going on there is everybody knows that if it was a drug raid, then of course, obviously, the cop deserved to be killed. And so they stay silent on that to try to figure that people might give the goon the benefit of the doubt. But most likely, and there's no proof that the cop was in the right, and there's no proof that they told the truth on the sworn affidavit in Illinois either. So rule number 1, always presume the cop is in the wrong.
Thank you for the call tonight, Tom. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. You can also presume the cop is lying as well, because there's always a good chance of that.
Well, I don't know whether I'm going to take the position that you all are taking here, but I will say that police officers are allowed to lie in the course of their duties.
Yeah,
and
they're trained to in some cases.
So, well, they are trained to. Yes, yeah. They're allowed to say the words, whatever words they need to say in order to get whatever confession they get out of you,
right.
In whatever situation. And I would also
if you lie to them, though, boy, look out.
Is that what we can see here is if I don't know the situation that Tom's talking about, but if there's a situation where somebody was killed in a drug raid where it was bad information or whatever, then he's absolutely right. If you commit a crime and somebody is killed in the commission of that crime, whether you killed them or not, you can be charged with murder. So yes, every one of the police officers that participated in this failed drug raid that was on an innocent person's home where some people died, presuming this is what occurred, but it certainly has occurred in the past, so it's not like going out on a limb.
Most of the raids are drug raids.
They would all, were they not possessors of a badge, be charged.
Right.
So you're not going to have we need a government that is responsible for its actions.
You're a dreamer.
That's all I'm saying is just that people should be responsible for their actions, whether they work for the government or not.
I agree. Unfortunately, the government goons have certain what they call immunities. So there's like qualified immunity, there's sovereign immunity, and honestly, I couldn't tell you the difference between one or the other.
No, they're whatever they feel like they are.
But yeah, it's basically, sorry, I work for the government, you can't get me. But it sounds like they actually did charge one of those cops with
sovereign
murder.
Immunity is kind of like diplomatic immunity when you, basically you can do anything you want. Qualified immunity, you can get away with some things.
855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Whether it's bad cops or Trump's order to American businesses, that's where we're going next. You can bring up what you want here on Free Talk Live's Live Saturday show.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call. 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're able to join us here if you dial toll-free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, the live Saturday edition of this program. You can join us here. And we've also got the Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm, where you can call in there if you want to sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio. Like, it sounds really good. A lot better than regular phone line calls. But we'll take them either way, because we do want to talk to you about whatever's on your mind. Now, coming up, we got the order from Donald Trump, which, as it should be, is being ridiculed in many circles. We'll share that with you and why coming up here. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And want to make sure to say thank you to Voluntary Gary, who is a Free Talk Live Gold Amplifier. And that means that Voluntary Gary is contributing $10 a month to the Free Talk Live AMP program. So if you like what we do, you ought to do what Voluntary Gary has done, and that is join the AMP program. He's doing $10 a month. We only ask $5, so we definitely appreciate the extra. But all we ask is $5, and you can join it by going to amp.freetalklive.com. You get some perks, some benefits, ampamp.freetalklive.com. Some of those perks include the AMP-only Facebook group. There's special chat rooms on our Discord server and more. Please get all the details and help us out with the AMP program. ampamp.freetalklive.com. Really appreciate it. So, of course, Donald Trump has taken to Twitter, as he is wont to do.
This is how we mete out policy these days.
He spends a good amount of his time on Twitter every single day, and according to various different sources, but specifically the @RealDonaldTrump Twitter channel, he posted a 4-part tweet because Twitter only limits you to 280 characters, I think it is.
Yeah, they doubled it though.
So They did double it. We go
probably an executive order.
Let me share with you what it was that Donald Trump said here on Twitter. Get your response. Our country has lost, stupidly, trillions of dollars with China over many years. They have stolen our intellectual property at a rate of hundreds of billions of dollars a year, and they want to continue. I won't let that happen. We don't need China, and frankly, we'd be far better off without them. Before we go on, let's just stop there. What do you think about that?
Does the number 1 economy in the world need the number 2 economy in the world? Seems like a silly place to...
Which one's number 1 now?
The United States.
Okay. I wonder how close they're getting in China.
I would have to look.
Yeah, because they're rising up in the world.
Yeah, they've got a lot more people, and those people aren't as wealthy as Americans are.
Do we need them? No, probably not. You can probably get some products that are similar from other manufacturers in Pakistan or wherever. But
I'd also be curious as to how they rate these things. Where does the European Union fall in? Now, the European Union is a federation, right? Mm-hmm. What is the United States federal government?
A federation.
It's a federation, too.
Yeah.
Now, it functions as a state in many cases, but it is not. States are organizations claim monopoly privilege.
Well, it functions as a state in that it's a state.
It's not a
You
state.
don't mean a state as in the land-mass of a state. It is a state as in the government, the state.
It isn't. It's a federation of states.
You're going to have to make an argument for that one. I mean, that was the original intention, but it has become its own completely separate entity that acts as though it rules over that federation with an iron fist.
Most of what it does to states, it does by handing out money, so incentivizing things. For instance, 49 out of 50 states have seatbelt laws because the United States federal government gave out several $1 million in order to get these laws passed. So,
well, it doesn't incentivize you to pay the taxes that it demands.
No, but federations, are contracted into being by these states, and the states can thus give their taxing power to the federation also. So that's what has happened.
I think we're mincing words here, and so there's no point in continuing with it. But the state is, according to definitions here, the operations or activities of a central civil government, or the body politic is organized for civil rule and government. It's a state. There's no doubt about it.
I would agree with you that it functions as a state in many ways.
In the same way the EU could be argued as a state.
Right. That's the thing, is that these are super states, basically.
Yeah, and they need to be disbanded.
States above the states.
They need to go away.
Either way, when you call the EU probably should be entered into this list as opposed to saying France or Germany.
Fair. I think that's fair.
So I would like to know where they rate on that chart.
Good question.
As far as versus China.
But are we better off without them? I would agree that you don't need one particular landmass because there's other people in the world. But are we better off without China? I don't know about that.
So I would agree that China is pretty slippery in its enforcement of intellectual property laws. The only enforcement you'll see of intellectual property there is the ways that benefit the Chinese state. And they are happy to have their basically state-run factories take as much information as they can from the manufacturing process, thus making it easier for them to learn how to create these new technologies, right?
I think that's wonderful. Anything that undermines intellectual property, I support.
I'm not sure. I don't like things to be done unfairly, right? So,
well, now wait a minute. It's not unfair if the U.S. government has a bunch of crappy laws that inhibit business, which are what intellectual property laws do. It's unfair that the people of the United States are being treated that way by the United States government, but it has nothing to do with fairness when it comes to the Chinese government. If they have no intellectual property enforcement or very little enforcement, that's not the problem of the people in the United States. That's a benefit.
Well, I think you'd have to convince me that that's the case, because I don't think that there's
plenty of evidence out there that intellectual property inhibits development.
Sure, but being the beneficiary, right? You wouldn't say drug dealers are necessarily good people simply because they're operating in a system where drugs are illegal. They're just filling a role that is obviously going to be filled. Mm-hmm. In the same way, I would consider China to be, they're acting in an unethical manner, but intellectual property laws are
unethical.
Yeah, they're. I don't know if they're unethical.
Yes,
but
they are, because they tell somebody you can't do a thing because somebody else thought of it first. You can't take copyright or patent or whatever we're talking about, whatever aspect of so-called intellectual property. You can't take those notes and organize them in that way, Mr. Musician. That's already been done. If you do, we're going to come after you with financial penalties. And if you don't pay the financial penalties, well, we could do worse things to you. And you, Mr. Manufacturer, you shan't be taking that idea from that person over there and combining it with a new idea that you've come up with, because that person over there you haven't given them enough money, so they'll say that you can take their idea. And that prevents that inventor or whoever we're talking about, the research and development department, from coming up with some new plan. Or they'll tell a competitor, you can't build that thing because this person has a patent on that thing, and so therefore if you try to build it, we're going to come in and destroy your business.
So intellectual
That's not freedom.
No, it's certainly not. Intellectual property laws are wrong because they inhibit development and freedom and these sorts of things. And I would further say,
through the threat of violence.
If the person who invented the wheel was able to hold the patent forever and ever and ever, we would all be the progeny of this person, and
we'd be more impoverished because of it.
We'd all have to be exchanging money constantly for the use of wheels, and the manufacturers would have to be paying out to 7 billion people on the planet because everybody's related to the guy who related to the guy who created the wheel. It's all weird, and that's what intellectual property laws basically do. I think the two best arguments...
They get in the way.
Yeah, they do. They the two best arguments for them are blockbuster movies and...
You mean that business that went under?
Not Blockbuster. Big movies, right? You can say, hey, we put a lot of money in developing this big movie, and you can't just burn it onto a DVD. And
people do it all the time.
Yes, they do. They do it all the time. And I think that there's...
And you know what? The big movies are just as big as they've ever been. I mean, you were talking about the Marvel series bringing in... What are they, the top 5 or 5 of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time? If you're not adjusting for inflation,
right.
They dominate the charts, and all of them came within the last decade when it's relatively easy to rip a DVD or go to some torrent website and download every single one of those Marvel movies. I could do it in the next 5 minutes. I could probably, if I knew what they were all called, because there's 2 dozen or 3 dozen of them or something, I could probably start downloads on all of them. It wouldn't be legal, but it's not hard.
Right, agreed. You can do that, but Amazon can't do that. Mm-hmm. So because of the intellectual property laws, Amazon must make deals with Disney in order to sell these things, and that's how I own them, is through Amazon, because it's just easier.
You don't own them, you have a license.
That's correct, right. If I owned them, I'd be able to do what I want, and I can't. That much is absolutely
Which is one of the bad parts about having the online delivery. It's very convenient, but if for some reason the license holder decides that they want to pull that product from the market, then it won't be there the next time you try to go and play it. Whereas at least if you have it on a disc, they can't undo that. They can't pull it off the disc. It's there. But that's going away. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733, whether you want to talk about intellectual property. And we're going to get back into Donald Trump's 4-part tweet where he issues an order to American businesses about China on the way here. Hour 2's next. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,498, silver at $17.05, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,180. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing 1 or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a rather shocking study published this month by the Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences names police officers as the 6th leading cause of death among young men. Activist Post reports that police killings were only preceded in frequency by accidental death, a category that includes drug overdoses and car accidents, at 76.6 deaths per 100,000, followed by suicide, other homicides, heart disease, and cancer. The killings by police include shooting, choking, beating, and various other ways that police have taken the lives of Americans. Even more damning than finding out that police are a leading cause of death for young men is the fact that the lead researcher of the study and an assistant professor at the School of Criminal Justice at Rutgers University, Frank Edwards, says the numbers may be an undercount. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Amazon rainforest had been on fire for several weeks, and Brazil's right-wing President Bolsonaro suggested Wednesday, without evidence, that the fires were started by non-governmental organizations. The Mind Unleashed quotes Bolsonaro as saying, quote, "Maybe, I am not affirming it, these NGO people are carrying out some criminal actions to draw attention against me, against the government of Brazil," end quote. Adding that, quote, "The fires were lit in strategic places. All the indications suggest they went there to film and start fires. That's what I feel," end quote. Greenpeace Brazil shot back, with its public policy coordinator, Marcio Astrini, calling the president's statement sick and pitiful. In a video that's gone viral, a Brazilian woman expressed anguish as she pointed to the destruction the fires have brought, which she blamed on deforestation for cattle ranching, a practice that Bolsonaro has actively encouraged. The video was shared by the U.S.-based Sunrise Movement, which said in a tweet, quote, We cannot tolerate political agendas of deforestation. We will not watch our future burn away. End quote. With his company stock in freefall, Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne resigned as CEO Thursday, effective immediately, after he stunned investors by disclosing his entanglements with the deep state. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 56-year-old Byrne, who founded the company in 1999 and took it public 3 years later, will be succeeded by director Jonathan Johnson, who was with the company for 17 years and has recently served as president of Overstock's blockchain business. Byrne's resignation comes after conspiratorial comments from August 12th, where he confessed his role in the deep state. Byrne released an initial statement last week where he discussed his involvement in the federal government's investigation into the 2016 election interference, though he wasn't super specific. He said he assisted in investigations related to the Clintons and Russia. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The Supreme Court's sidekick, Kid Justice, is killed by mad genius Dr. Contempto. Thousands of elderly Japanese Americans are rounded up for an internment camp's 70th reunion. And a report confirms the habitat of Bengal tigers is now down to a studio apartment in Jaipur, India. As it was once prophesied in the weekly news recap videos of old, here now it emerges before your very eyes. This is the Onion Week in Review. Local man Matthew Hunker announced this week that he has such strong brand loyalty to Mazda that he's willing to kill for the Japanese car brand. Hunker told reporters that if he hears anyone say anything negative about Mazda's cutting-edge features, or if anyone places any other car brand above the award-winning line of 2013 Mazdas, he will, quote, personally beat them to death.
You think I wouldn't slit your goddamn throat in the name of Mazda? You think I'm f***ing around? Go ahead, say something bad about the top-rated Mazda 6, or the award-winning CX-5. See what f***ing happens. I f***ing dare you.
You think I'm afraid to go to jail? This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, hour number 2. We're kicking it off here. You can take control of the airwaves, talking about Trump ordering American businesses over his Twitter account to, well, we actually haven't gotten through the full 4-part tweet that he did, but to basically start looking for alternatives to doing business with China. With you here tonight, it's Ian
and Mark.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We also have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm as we go to your phone calls and thoughts. Let's start out with Joe. He's in, I think, Myrtle Beach, listening to WRNN. Hello, Joe.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good. What's on your mind tonight?
I just want to go back to what you were saying about property rights and the patent issue, and should people be able to patent their product? And you guys are saying that stifles economic development. That's the furthest thing from the truth. I mean,
really?
You're talking socialism.
No, sir, that's not socialism. That's not socialism.
No,
we're talking about a free market. Socialism is where the state owns the means of production.
Okay, but you're now talking about allowing people to steal anybody else's property rights.
No. It's only a belief that you have a right to intellectual property. So the reason why property rights are different from intellectual property is because property is scarce. So if I have a chair and you take it from me, I don't have a chair anymore. However, if I have an idea and I tell it to you and you then have the idea, but so do I. So you can copy ideas 1,000,000 times and there's no damage to anybody.
Okay, but say it cost you $1 million to develop that idea, and then it goes out in the public domain just because there's no protection. Now, why would you invest the $1 million? You wouldn't. You would
actually
say,
plenty of people invested.
I've
Hold on, before you go on,
do it.
There's plenty of examples where this happens, okay? So there's a bunch of industries where there's
all the inventions that came before the creation of intellectual property laws that we can point out.
But even today, there are certain businesses like the clothing business, for instance, designer clothing, for instance, that
there's no patents on certain types of shirts, or radical new collars are not stopped or stifled in the marketplace because of these things.
And one of the reasons why people still invented things back
because they're not what, sir?
They're not unique. Invent something new.
Tell that to the inventor.
Every type of collar was unique when it was created.
Right. So back before they created the intellectual property laws, one of the reasons why people came out with new products is because they wanted to be first to marketplace. Because generally the market will reward whoever it is that's first. Like Bayer with aspirin, for instance. I think it was Bayer that did that. The name, in a lot of cases, becomes synonymous with the product because they were there first, and they get that
first mover status.
Yeah, first mover. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you think any pharmaceutical company would invest money in a new drug, would invest billions of dollars? And I used to work for Pfizer.
Hold on.
So
Before you go on with that, I see where you're coming from, and the answer is pharmaceutical companies did invest, but further, the billions of dollars are costs that are imposed upon them by the government, by the FDA, this huge bureaucracy that demands that these companies put ridiculous, they have to put their products through ridiculous amounts of testing that may or may not be completely necessary in order to release it to the marketplace.
Or in order to keep companies from bringing new drugs online.
Right.
It just depends on what you believe.
I think you're in a rather weak state of argument because
I think the same of yours. Whatever. That's a dumb thing.
Because why? Go ahead. Because why?
Because the FDA imposes restrictions on pharmaceutical companies because there have been a number of pharmaceutical evolutions that created more harm than they did good.
That's what they want you to believe.
Sure. Yeah, the FDA is out there to save you unless you have a terminal disease.
Wait. Think of the thalidomide babies. Think of all the people back in the 1800s that had their snake oil medicines that were out promoting things that
they still have them.
Well, look, there's all kinds of things out there that come right to the line right now of curing something. There's supplements and nutritional bits and
stuff like
bottles of this and that in some way or another they'll say that they treat it without saying they treat.
Right, they can't
X,
make a claim.
Y, or Z. So we have all that today. The FDA has done nothing to stop that from occurring. Yes, if your product harms people, you should be responsible for that. But the FDA is just a bureaucracy that gets in the way of the creation of new things. You can get drugs. We can go right across the border in Mexico and get drugs that you can't get in the United States. So, are they saving me from something?
And you can vape. You can vape, which is not regulated by the FDA.
Yeah.
And you can risk your life from all the chemicals that are in vaping.
You should be able to risk your life. You should be free. If this is a free country, and it's not, you should be free to put whatever experimental medication in your body that you want to, shouldn't you?
No, I agree with that.
Well, then you disagree with the FDA, sir.
That's socialism.
Then you disagree, and it is not socialism.
No, it's not.
Then you disagree with the FDA.
You know what? No, because you guys are parsing words, and you're ignoring the fact that if someone invests a ton of money inventing a product, they should have the right to pursue that product's economic pursuit for a limited period of time.
You mean they should have a right to use violence against their competitors?
Well, but how much is the limited period of time? Because I think this is where the argument really sort of hangs. Okay, so you're saying that it costs X to do Y, and that we need, therefore, to be able to make Z in order to make X possible. Okay, I'm fine with that. How long is the perfect amount of time, and how in the world can a group of liars and thieves that we call politicians come up with this perfect golden period of time? Is it 17 years? Is it 99 years plus the author's lifetime? Exactly how long is it? Or is it just however long it's been since Mickey Mouse was created? Because that, in reality, is what a lot of the intellectual property laws are based on. There's a question there.
Obviously, my intellect is not as superior as yours, so I can't tell you how many years it takes to protect a person's economic rights to some patent that they've invented. But there is a period of time when I believe if you say totally free market, totally everything cannot be protected at all, people will stop investing and inventing.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous claim, sir. It's based on complete fear-mongering.
Yeah, I don't think that it's true. I think that people will invent, and we have a lot of evidence if you look at the marketplace. I mean, I know why people want their stuff protected. Look, I'm an artist, right? I'm creating something here. I don't want people to take my work and pervert it and then have me saying things that I'm not saying, like making a voice actuator of my voice and then having Mark say socialist things.
They're going to do it if they want to.
They are going to do it if they want to. But
what are you going to do about it?
I would prefer them not doing that.
Sure.
Right?
But they will. As
fine.
long as you're popular enough, it's going to happen.
Right. They're going to put my face on
porn. You're going to get a deep fake.
They're going to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
And, I get the concerns there because... But also, you have to acknowledge, right, that rap music back in the 80s, when they could sample differently than they can now, allowed for some flexibility in the creation of these works that no longer exist today. Now we've got to be worried about whether Ice Ice Baby is a cutoff of a Queen hit or not. And I think that's dumb. Ice Ice Baby is a great song in and of itself, and it doesn't matter whether the bass line went doom, 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 or doom,
careful,
doom, doom,
you might
doom,
be in
doom,
violation
right, or whatever
Hey,
it
thanks,
was supposed to
Joe,
have done.
for the call. I do appreciate the discussion.
But again, Joe did pick up on the I said it was blockbuster movies and drugs, and those are the two areas.
Yeah, but that's not even look.
That
We've had
make
Dr.
the biggest arguments. Yes,
they're making the argument, but we've had Dr. Mary Ruwart on this show more than once.
Yep.
And she
talk about intellectual property and drugs.
She's
and
old
she
enough.
worked in the marketplace back when they didn't worry about the IP laws as much. And she said what the result of the IP laws in drug manufacturers has been not the creation of new drugs, but in fact the same old drugs basically being repackaged with a slightly different chemical makeup.
Right. And who's on the board of the FDA?
The drug manufacturers, of
course.
Because every licensing agency out there is basically controlled by its own industry.
Look, the FDA isn't there to protect you. It's there to protect the drug manufacturers. And yeah, they got to pay billions of dollars for that protection. But they do. There's more coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts. Free market? I'm in favor of it. This is Free Talk Live.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And I will say this about intellectual property, so-called. This is one of those issues that divides even the libertarian movement. There are people who fully believe in the fantasy of intellectual property, which is basically just the idea that you want the government to enforce your ideas by the use of violence and the threat of violence. And to me, that's not very libertarian at all.
Well, you want if the government exists, I want it to enforce the idea of ownership in certain ways, right? Like if my car gets stolen, they extract money from me on a regular basis. For their police agency. So I would like them to use that police agency to go look for my car. Right. Not that they likely will, but...
Right. And as I pointed out before, the difference between real property and intellectual property is the car is scarce. You only have one car. If someone takes it from you, then you're out of car. You don't get to go to work. But if you have an idea or a copy of a movie or a song or whatever we're talking about here that's intellectual property, those things can be copied and the original person still can have the thing that they had, the idea or the variant of whatever we're talking about on hand still. And so it's not the same thing as stealing the DVD from you. If I copied the DVD from you, you still have the DVD. I have the DVD as well. But the Motion Picture Association of America is going to claim that they've been violated, and so therefore they need to send the government goon squad after you for doing that act of copying. And I'm sorry, the act of copying is not the same thing as theft.
Right.
Period.
So what I think that one needs to look at, especially in the areas of copyright, allow people who created one thing one time. Think of the most popular song of the last 50 years. I don't know what it is.
Probably the Beatles would be my guess, but Hootie and the Blowfish? I don't know.
I don't know. You'd have to look it up. I couldn't tell you. Most popular song of the last 50 years, whatever it is. And maybe that person, whoever wrote that song, wrote that one song. Should you? I'm just asking you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a plumber, if you're a carpenter, if you're you manufacture something, you're a retail sale, should one act, one time in your career set you for life? Or should you need to necessarily bring to the marketplace your A game on a pretty regular basis? Maybe you can't bring it every day, right? Like maybe I'm not the plumber today that I was yesterday, or that I'll be tomorrow, or whatever. I'm hungover. Who knows? But, there's the idea that you can write one song one time, and we've got this whole industry designed that, now you just, you live under a different set of rules because you've made so much money. What's the song, Ian?
Oh, thank you. I actually pulled up the last 60 years. So Billboard, the charts people, they started in 1958. And so in the history of Billboard since 1958, number one, Chubby Checker's The Twist.
Oh, it's a great song.
Yeah. The Beatles
Come on,
aren't
baby.
The Beatles aren't even in the top 10.
There you go.
You got to get to number...
That's some white privilege for you, by the way. Chubby Checker, not white.
Right. Number 12 before you get to the Beatles. Hey Jude. Let me give you a few more here. Santana's Smooth at number 2.
That is a good song.
Bobby Darin, number 3 with Mac the Knife.
Oh, wow.
Uptown Funk at number 4, Bruno Mars.
Yeah, my wife loves that one.
Leanne Rimes at number 5 with How Do I Live.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard all these. It's amazing.
Party Rock Anthem. I probably would recognize it if I heard it, but I don't know it offhand by the title.
No.
That's Lauren Bennett, Goon Rock, and LMFAO in 2011. The Black Eyed Peas at number 7 with I Got a Feeling. Los Del Rio, everybody remembers Macarena at number 8.
Right. And
Ed Sheeran, Shape of You. Another, I don't know a lot of the newer songs, so I don't know that one. That's 2017 at number 9. And finally, Olivia Newton-John with Physical in 1981.
So we're from Sarasota, Florida, and there's a surprising amount of retired rock stars that live in Sarasota, Florida. They made their money, they did their tours, they've got their intellectual property, and what are they doing? They're parking wherever they feel like parking because a parking ticket is meaningless to them, right? They now are under a different form of law than the rest of us because they can be, because they have the amount of money that, it's basically paying for an expensive parking space for them.
I want to go to Nathan in Lynchburg, listening to WLNI FM. Hello, Nathan.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's on your
How you
mind
doing?
tonight? Thank you.
Well, I wanted to say that I really approve of what Trump's doing with China, and I think it's very beneficial.
What is he
How's
doing?
it helping me?
Not the immediate future, of course. We're gonna hit some hard times. A lot of businesses have been given a heads up with this tweet, and I appreciate a president who actually tells the business world and the investors ahead of time, "Hey guys,
get ready for a good screwing."
Yeah,
expect the market to go
get
down.
it a little bit, but you know what? We've been stuck in this China problem way before Trump was even running for office. I used to walk around my shop and talk crap to a lot of people, saying, "Hey, China owns us, China this and China that." Now I'm not saying that anymore, and I'm glad that we're taking care of a problem. That
Now,
we've
how
been
did China
neglecting for 8
own
to
you?
10 years.
How did China own you?
Because everything that I own is from China. Not literally, but I'd say 80% literally.
Pretty close.
Everything that
A lot of things are made.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to go through a hard time, and it's because of the laziness of our leadership for a long time.
Well,
Now,
wait a minute. Why is
finally-
everything you own from China? Did you choose to buy things from China? Did they force
Here's
them
why
on
everything
you?
I own from China is because I'm a cheap person.
Uh-huh.
And I try to buy the cheapest in the economy.
So you'd
And
rather
I
pay
agree
more
with
for
you
everything,
guys.
is what you're saying.
Expect prices to go
I
up.
agree with you guys
these
in the
tariffs.
nature of everything that you're saying, but I disagree with you on a few items, and that's about it. But you guys are pretty much on target.
Okay,
with
but I want to
the way I'm
clarify
thinking.
something here.
Well,
Hold
maybe
on,
you're
Mark.
right,
I'm
and
very
maybe I'm going to learn something.
I'm very frugal as well, okay, so I can appreciate that. But are you telling me you'd rather pay more for everything?
I would rather not pay more for everything, but considering where it comes from, considering where it was made, considering the factories and the people who are making those and what they're getting paid and their lifestyle and what they have to go through in a day, maybe we should pay a little more.
Is this the sweat? This is the sweatshop argument. Okay. Let me.
No, I don't want to make that argument because then it just generalizes it and it cheapens it.
Well,
you brought it up.
Let me make the argument now that we're talking about it, right? Like, so the people who work in wherever, China, Bangladesh, what you name your up and coming rising economy, whatever it might be, those people chose to work in those factories because one would presume working in the field, scratching a living out of the dirt sucks, and working in the factory sucks less. And that they can make more money by working in the factory than they can by trying to eke a living out of the earth. Those economies are up and coming. Yes, they're not as mature as the economies in the United States, and yes, those people do not enjoy the lifestyle that we did. But there was a time when our ancestors chose to leave the fields and go into the city and work in factory conditions that were not optimal, and an economy has to go through that in order for people to benefit. If I don't buy those goods, those people go back to the fields and they do the thing that sucks more.
Fair enough. Okay, how about this then?
Okay.
This is a ploy by Donald Trump to let China know that he's serious. And he's actually tweeting this stuff out because he understands that the intelligent community around worldwide is watching always, especially when a president tweets things to his own people. So I think that this is a ploy that he's using as leverage against China, because China's throwing tariffs against us now too, and it's becoming a big mess. If it doesn't get resolved, it will lead to international crisis, eventually to World War III. But
hold that thought, Nathan. If you had more, we'll bring you back. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money. Quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
For me, it's fighting negativity, and the negativity is my thoughts in my head that are negative. And I had to learn to recognize when my thoughts were being negative, because most of my life, most of my thoughts were negative. Mm-hmm. So I had to become aware of when they were happening. And when I become aware of these negative thoughts pervading my thinking, I immediately fight them with positive thoughts. And most of the positive thoughts that I feed myself are positive affirmations about who I am, where I'm going, where I've come from,
whenever I find myself thinking negatively, I don't consider it fighting the negative thoughts. I just consider it changing my train of thought. I just kind of change tracks to a positive thought and just focus on that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
855-450-3733. We ended up, just the whole Trump tweet thing where he's ordering American businesses to go elsewhere. We haven't even gotten through the tweets. We ended up getting off into a discussion about intellectual property, and people actually wanted to talk about that, so that's where we're at right now. One thing it's almost impossible to duplicate is gold, however.
Yeah, gold's created with the collapsing inside of a collapsing of a neutron star or something. You're not going to just replicate that here on planet Earth. Nope. But McAlvany ICA, they are one of the big names in gold. And, as far as investing, gold's definitely been on the move recently. It's hit 6-year highs, and it's historically known to be one of the most secure investments. McAlvany ICA has a free report that you can download if you'd like to learn more about investing in precious metals. The report is the 6 advantages of adding precious metals to an IRA and how you can double your ounces. That's important because McAlvany ICA has a special program that is designed to help you to increase the number of ounces that you have. Get it online at icagoldsilver.com. It's McAlvany ICA. They're also offering a free portfolio review. All you got to do is give them a call. They're America's foremost precious metals advisors and have been since 1972. ICA pioneered and practices leading strategies for compounding ounces. They have been helping people to take delivery of precious metals with both domestic and international fine storage options for decades. They've also helped thousands of investors with precious metals IRAs. So call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at icagoldsilver.com. You can get that number there, too. You can get a number. I think the number here is for us specifically. icagoldsilver.com, 800-525-9556. 800-525-9556, icagoldsilver.com.
And when you say it's for us specifically, you mean when our listeners call that number,
we get credit for it.
They'll know you came from Free Talk Live. So, again, that's 800-525-9556 for McAlvany ICA. Yep. All right, let's go back to Nathan. He's still with us in Lynchburg listening to WLNI. And Nathan, I wanted to make sure you had a chance to get your thoughts out. We were talking about free markets and intellectual property, and please.
And Trump's intervention.
Yeah. Well, by the way, speaking of the gold and stuff, China has invested heavily into Africa and other countries of the world in the past 8 to 10 years and have been building roads and have been building bridges for other poorer countries and have been owning intellectual as well as physical property, and their investors are really on top of the game and have been controlling the market for quite a long time. And all I'm saying is that I'm glad that we have a president who with these rules and stuff with intellectual property, I get it. I agree with you guys. If you come up with something and you become rich, you're going to lose that pretty quickly unless you went in there with a foolproof plan and foolproof investments. In other words, you had the money to invest into that idea that you created. And even though you spend millions or billions of dollars, doesn't mean that some other country somewhere along the line might not get a hold of your property, physical property, tear it down to its basic roots, and then reproduce it themselves and do it much cheaper.
Yep,
that's just the nature of business. That's just the nature of economy. That's just the nature of
and the
life.
people that want to have intellectual property laws, essentially, they want the government to prevent competition in their industry. Competition's great when, everywhere else because it brings prices down, right? It brings prices down. It brings the service quality up. We love competition, except when it's somebody competing with us. Then, we got to get the government in here to put a stop to these people who are copying my designs. And
government getting involved in anything is a bad idea.
Absolutely, which is why intellectual property is a bad idea. If you can protect your property or your idea on your own, meaning through some sort of a market, maybe contracts or some sort of encryption or whatever, then good for you. Let the market decide on those things.
And I'll give you, now that you've thrown the bone, I'm going to throw the bone to you too. I like Trump because if you look at the world economic system, the way we've been sold it, right? China's manufacturing, the United States is manufacturing, the trade between China and America, like these ideas. The United States doesn't trade anything. The United States is an organization of people who claim to rule you. You manufacture things, I manufacture things, but the United States is a bunch of shiftless, useless government bureaucrats.
Right.
Okay? And the same thing is true of China. Now, if you presume that those shiftless government bureaucrats are trading with each other, yeah, I am for Trump telling their side, go and follow the... If we're going to play a game called international trade, then you should play by the frickin' rules. And you don't play by the rules. Right. Well,
there is no rules.
There
I
are
have to
rules.
agree with China. I have to agree with China. There is no actual rules. You can do what you want. You can take physical, intellectual property and turn it into whatever you want to do with it if you have enough money to have to pay the scientists, to pay the whatever, to reproduce it.
Well, isn't that the way it ought to be? Where there are no rules, just let the market decide. We don't need some government goon squad telling us how to do business.
No, I agree with you on that. And I'm going to have to just say that, unfortunately, Trump is going to have to do something with China because they've been ruling the market. They've realized they're the first maybe country out there who said, screw the rules. We're going to do what we want. We're a communist nation. We don't care. And if you don't like it, guess what? We have more people than you. We have more money than you. We're controlling, and we're buying the world.
Well, unfortunately, his solution is only going to hurt Americans. But thank you, Nathan, for the call tonight. To put a tariff on things is a tax on the buyer. So it's a tax on Americans, which means that it's going to hurt people in the United States, not the people in China. They'll sell to plenty of people around the world. I mean, the same statement's probably true for that Trump made about China. He said we don't need China. Well, they don't need us. They can sell to the rest of the world.
The United States is China's biggest customer.
Sure,
business people in the United States are China's biggest customer.
They're not going to go starving if they have to sell to the rest of the entire world.
But they've been kind of planning for this all along, is my impression, or at least what I am sold by the major media is that China's in this as an economic war, and they intend to win. I don't know if that's what they intend to do or not, but what I can say is that Trump, Obama, any one of these people has no right to tell me with whom I can trade and at what price. And that is the moral fundamental that I'm talking about here.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying, when you're talking about sort of on the greater level, when the media is talking about, the USA versus the Chi-Coms and ding, 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 it's a trade war, right? Like all that crap. I get it. I see why you like the guy in your ring. He'll let the punches fly. He lets them fall where they may. He's just that kind of guy. I like that too. But ultimately, he's treating you like a serf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you got to realize that. You have to realize
he's telling you what you can and can't do.
Well, and it's not that Obama wasn't doing that. He was doing it too. It's just
Trump
the media
will tweet about it.
Right. Trump will do it differently, and the media goes bananas over it every single time. But what you're doing when you cheer for this stuff, just remember what you're doing is you're cheering your own chains. They're your chains. Yes! The guy who holds our chains is going after the guy that holds theirs.
Right.
You know what I say? We should have no chains.
No doubt.
And what do the serfs do? You guys are nuts.
You're socialists.
Or whatever they say. You know what? No. I believe in a free market. I'm the exact opposite of a socialist. If you're calling me a socialist, the chances are good you don't know what a socialist is, and you are one.
Well, that's the thing about this is, these issues are so muddled these days. There's so many, let's call it statist, pro-government, pro-state
that's the best term.
Positions on these issues. Like we saw with one of these shooters recently in his manifesto. He had just absorbed all of it. He had the lefty talking points. He had the righty talking points. And he was just a total authoritarian statist. He didn't reject anything.
Right. He was all for, like they were calling him a Trump supporter, but the guy wanted a UBI.
A universal basic income.
He wants a universal basic income
being promoted
for Americans.
by people on the left,
right? By white Americans, and so we have to shoot the Mexicans to get it. It's crazy.
And he was a climate change guy too.
Yeah,
so he was totally on board with the government to restrict everybody's freedoms in the.
Well, I probably believe in climate change going on, but I don't think I think the government is the number one worst organization to fix that problem.
Well, most of the people who believe in climate change
Sure, they think
the
some
government
tax
can
is gonna
do
fix
something about it. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
We're going to elect a bunch of liars and thieves, and they're going to fix our problems.
No, they're telling the truth this time.
This is the crap that we've been sold.
Oh, they're telling the truth this time, right?
Yeah, right.
Just like they did
I
the
feel
last
the burn.
25 times. We're coming up.
Extend your life with Extendovite. Extendovite really works. Just listen to what Wayne has to say.
Extendovite. I have been taking it for about 2 years, and I had really bad heart palpitations. And since I've been taking it, I don't have any major episodes at all anymore. I'm 76 years old, and I still play competitive basketball. Well, of course, I've taken care of myself really good since I was 60, but Extendovite really helped the blood pressure, really helped I used to get really bad episodes of heart palpitations, just skipping beats and double beats. But also I wanted to tell you that I really appreciate your broadcast. They're just really refreshing.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. Exclusions apply.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices and an absolutely free consultation. Just text DO11 to 350350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK. For a free consultation plus an extra 20% discount, text DO11 to 350350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's DO11 to 350350.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The live Saturday edition of the show. The toll-free number for you to take control of the airwaves is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Donald Trump issuing a so-called order to American businesses to stop doing business with China, or at the very least start looking for other options. Can he do that? With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to take your calls and thoughts about what you want, of course. You can bring up anything. That is the point of the show. But I also want to make sure that you know about what you can do, a bunch of different stuff with our website. One option for you is to get on our email list. Now, there's a lot of newfangled social media out there, but I'm still a believer when it comes to email, because there's no better way to get a direct message to somebody that cares about you or is interested in hearing from you. So sign up for our email list. We've got a easy sign-up box there toward the top, kind of toward the middle of the page on our website over at freetalklive.com. Now, to be clear, if you're listening during the live show and you go to freetalklive.com, you won't see the email sign-up box because there's like a live player that comes up during our live hours. But just click into to the full site and you'll see it there. So pop your email in there, and then we'll send you an email, usually on a once-a-week basis, just to let you know what the latest on Free Talk Live is. So this week's email I sent out today, Mark, just reminding folks that you were on Bitcoin.com's show and giving them a link to that, and talking about Nobody, who's one of our co-hosts that's filed for mayor this week here in Keene, New Hampshire, and has been making some headlines there. So
guy was formerly known as Rich Paul went and changed his name to Nobody legally, so that he can then run for office, and people can now vote for Nobody.
Perhaps for the first time in a long time in many jurisdictions. It's usually, we did do a little bit of research, and we found some evidence that somebody had changed their name to Nobody at some point in the past, but this is not very common.
Nobody, Rich Paul, is hoping to start a worldwide movement where everybody changes their name.
I don't think he expects everybody to do that.
Enough people change their name to Nobody that it becomes this sort of movement where the government isn't able to use names the same way that they were. And, now people in geographic locations around the world can vote for Nobody.
Yeah, and I think that's what he wanted to do, is have people who wanted to run for office, preferably as libertarians, but you can't control this, to change their name to Nobody. So Nobody would be a choice on multiple ballots. Anyway, let's continue here. We got the Donald Trump quote that we haven't even gotten through, I don't think, a fourth of this thing. It's a 4-part tweet, and we're going to continue with that. But first, let's go to David in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, well, I'm going to change my name to Somebody, and I'm going to kick his ass. I'll get all the votes.
Well, I'm going to change my name to Everybody, and we're going to watch.
Good idea. Can we find some way to copyright, patent, trademark this operation and make some money off of it?
I'm out. Everybody's not interested.
Oh, my strategy worked. I got rid of my partner that was going to take half my profits. So now that we got that, so everybody listening, we got that open to new partners that are willing to take less than Mark was going to take.
Everybody's listening.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder how long it'll be till the government, if people change their name to Nobody, until somebody raises an argument that causes confusion on the ballot. They thought they were actually voting for Nobody, and it turns out Nobody is somebody, and they're pissed, and they're going to complain, and the government cracks down and makes a new law.
No, they could. They could. I guess we'll find out, because he does plan to not only run as Nobody for mayor, but also eventually run as Nobody for governor, and maybe even go up to the presidential level. So, it could be fun.
Cool. And guess what?
Guess what?
Another one, Mark. I had a one-on-one. Well, you're talking about Walmart. I had a one-on-one, face-to-face with Sam Walton while he was living, of course. I also had a one-on-one, face-to-face with Hootie, Darius Rucker.
Really?
You mentioned Hootie. And
I did mention them earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. In the bar and at the Moose Saloon in Teton Village, Jackson,
David's
Wyoming.
Memories. Thanks for the call tonight, man. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Donald Trump says that China is not needed. So I'm going to pick up on his 4-part tweet here toward the end of part 1. And he says, frankly, we would be far better off without them. He continues, the vast amounts of money made by and stolen by China from the United States year after year for decades will and must stop. Stolen? He's talking about intellectual property there, right? Because nobody's accused the Chinese people of stealing things from the United States. They live over there.
Right. So the intellectual property system, say what you might about it. What it tends to do is we have a system now that tends to take ideas from individuals, trickle them up to controlling corporations, and then those controlling corporations socialize the cost of enforcement of that property, I'm using air quotes, to you. So
through the government.
You really don't get that $1 million idea. You might get paid for it, but you're never going to see a fraction. You'll get a fraction of what it's worth by any stretch. And then the big corporations get a hold of it, and then you, through the form of taxes, pay for the enforcement, the federal government, for these intellectual property laws. This is the reality.
In the same way that your taxes pay for the enforcement to protect the oil companies.
Yeah. And this is what the leftists mean when they say the government is controlled by corporations. Well, they're right. I mean, nobody runs around being wrong 100% of the time. So the leftists are correct in this way. Is what you have here is, in one hand, the state owns everything, all the manufacturing stuff over in China, owns many of the big companies over there. And on the other side, in the United States, it's the corporations that own it. So what you're doing is you're sitting in the stands as one of the, in the Coliseum, up in the cheap seats. You're cheering one side or the other. You know what? I'm sick and tired of choosing which multi-billionaire is going to win in a given fight. I'm so sick of it.
Well, in this case, not only are you cheering, these trade tariffs and such, you're also cheering on your own impoverishment. Because as
I said,
right.
you now pay for the enforcement.
Yeah,
and that's what these tariffs are, is just more of this enforcement.
Right, and so the more the products cost, the lower your standard of living goes. Did you think your standard of living was already bad? Has it been going up over the last 30 years? The last several decades or a few decades of your life, however long it's been? Has your standard of living been going up if let's say your paycheck hasn't really gone up that much over the last 2 decades? How's that affected, how much stuff you're able to buy? Because the price of things is going up, right? This is some of the complaints we've heard from people on this program over recent years, is that they're not making much more than they were making 15 years ago, but the prices of things is more expensive. And with more tariffs, the prices of things are going to go even higher, which means that your paycheck, which will stay the same or close to it, isn't going to go as far. You won't be able to take out your family to that nice dinner as often. You won't be able to go on as many vacations, if any at all. Is this the price you're willing to pay for what? Some sort of political tribute?
Right. These controls in the marketplace that we're told are there to protect us and benefit us and these sorts of things. I mean, who wants a control in the marketplace that isn't there to benefit them? Well, obviously, they're going to sell every control in the marketplace as a way to benefit you. I believe, and there's evidence, many great economists believe, that a free market, actually is the most leveling force out there.
Absolutely.
And intellectual property is contrary to a free market. I'm not saying I'm cheering for China, because I believe that they're there's rules and they're working against them. But
I'll buy my plastic stuff from wherever it comes cheapest. So it has nothing to do with China being good or anything like that. It's just maybe they're better at manufacturing than some other places on the planet at the moment.
I think that they probably got cheap labor in part. Ultimately,
there's cheap labor in Pakistan or
but
wherever.
Not in the United States.
Yeah.
What happens?
Definitely not.
Right. What happens when you start arguing about where products come from? Ultimately, comes down to how come you don't want to pay for expensive, fat, lazy Americans to do the work when you could have emaciated Bangladeshis or whatever.
You can't pay for Americans to do the work. You have to find outside sources as a business, manufacturer, because of all the stupid government rules that get in the way of whether it's OSHA regulations or whether it's, minimum wage rules. There's so many different government controls on business that dramatically increase costs. Business owners are always going to be looking to move operations outside of the U.S. However, he says that they ought to be moving things back home. Let me continue with his quotes here from Twitter. He says that this must stop with the whole China thing. He says, our great American companies are hereby ordered to immediately start looking for an alternative to China, including bringing your companies home and making your products in the USA. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. We've got hour number 3 on the way. We're halfway through Donald Trump's quotes here. He's finally gotten to his order against American businesses. Can he give all businesses in America an order like this? Is this legal, what he's done? 855-450-FREE. How does it make you feel? Does it warm your heart to be told what to do, even if you agree with it? This is Free Talk Live. Hour 3 is next.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,498, silver at $17.05, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,180. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a rather shocking study published this month by the Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences names police officers as the 6th leading cause of death among young men. Activist Post reports that police killings were only preceded in frequency by accidental death, a category that includes drug overdoses and car accidents, at 76.6 deaths per 100,000, followed by suicide, other homicides, heart disease, and cancer. The killings by police include shooting, choking, beating, and various other ways that police have taken the lives of Americans. Even more damning than finding out that police are a leading cause of death for young men is the fact that the lead researcher of the study and an assistant professor at the School of Criminal Justice at Rutgers University, Frank Edwards, says the numbers may be an undercount. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Amazon rainforest have been on fire for several weeks, And Brazil's right-wing President Bolsonaro suggested Wednesday, without evidence, that the fires were started by non-governmental organizations. The Mind Unleashed quotes Bolsonaro as saying, quote, "Maybe, I am not affirming it, these NGO people are carrying out some criminal actions to draw attention against me, against the government of Brazil," end quote. Adding that, quote, "The fires were lit in strategic places. All the indications suggest they went there to film and start fires. That's what I feel," end quote. Greenpeace Brazil shot back, with its public policy coordinator, Marcio Estrini, calling the president's statement sick and pitiful. In a video that's gone viral, a Brazilian woman expressed anguish as she pointed to the destruction the fires have brought, which she blamed on deforestation for cattle ranching, a practice that Bolsonaro has actively encouraged. The video was shared by the U.S.-based Sunrise Movement, which said in a tweet, quote, "We cannot tolerate political agendas of deforestation. We will not watch our future burn away," end quote. With his company stock in freefall, Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne resigned as CEO Thursday, effective immediately, after he stunned investors by disclosing his entanglements with the deep state. The Mind Unleashed reports that the 56-year-old Byrne, who founded the company in 1999 and took it public 3 years later, will be succeeded by director Jonathan Johnson, who was with the company for 17 years and has recently served as president of Overstock's blockchain business. Byrne's resignation comes after conspiratorial comments from August 12th, where he confessed his role in the deep state. Byrne released an initial statement last week where he discussed his involvement in the federal government's investigation into the 2016 election interference, though he wasn't super specific. He said he assisted in investigations related to the Clintons and Russia. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Thousands took to the streets to protest the NYPD's Stop and Kiss program. New Yorkers who've been stopped often say the encounters feel extremely intrusive.
Going through my pockets, throwing my stuff on the ground, kissing me on my neck and face. They push me up against the wall and start nibbling on my ear.
Joining us now is legal analyst Susan Hughes and Mark Brennan, a former police officer who has defended the Stop and Kiss program.
Look, it's one thing to kiss someone who you think might commit a crime, but these officers are just kissing people left and right with no probable cause.
If you've got nothing to hide, then it's not a problem. They just stop, ask where you're going, give you a gentle kiss or two, and let you go.
Mark, there have been examples, public examples, where these procedures have just gone too far. Let's take a look at a disturbing cell phone video that's been making the rounds on the internet.
Stop! Put your hands on your head. Oh, come on, man. They just kissed me 2 blocks ago. Come on, man. I didn't do anything.
Shut the f*** up and let me kiss you. Look, the cops can either kiss people now before there's violence, or they can be kissing a bunch of dead bodies at a crime scene.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here if you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. You may bring up anything that's on your mind. That is the point of the show. That's why we call it Free Talk Live with you tonight. It's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to get right back into your phone calls and thoughts. We are still in the middle of this tweet, or 4 tweets, quadra tweet from Donald Trump, where he's ordering American businesses to start looking for alternatives to China.
Sounds like a warning to me.
Warning about what?
What he's going to order people to do in the future.
What do you think he's going to do in the future?
Going to attempt to institute some kind of rules where they just cut China out of trade entirely.
Straight up prohibition, huh?
Yeah.
That would be really scary. But we're going to continue with that quote here in just a few moments. First, we go to your calls and thoughts. We'll start with Matthew, listening in Louisiana, watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Matthew.
So we're having in November our Goober race.
Uh-huh.
And we're looking to, well, people on our side of the aisle are looking to replace John Tinkerbell. We're one tax hike away from prosperity. Edwards. And so I have a choice to make. We've got a TradCon, that would be Ralph Abrams. Then we've got an economic Ralph Abrams.
TradCon?
A congressman. Yeah, traditional conservative.
Okay.
Then we've got an economic conservative in this businessman named Eddie Risponi. But I'm attracted to this crazy independent named Gary Landrieu, who I don't think he has much chance right now. I mean, he's just being outspent left and right. But he has said to me, and he takes calls when doing radio talk show hosts.
Okay.
Radio talk shows.
Are you saying most of these guys
that,
don't take calls?
No, most of them do not take calls, which right off the bat, I'm like, yeah, you're not willing to talk to us in an open forum? I'm kind of suspicious of that. And so this guy, though, has said that he will, if the bill ever reaches his desk, given the composition of our legislature, that can be difficult, he will sign constitutional carry into law, and he will sign marijuana legalization into law.
All right, guns and drugs, those are two big ones.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, this sounds good. But then I'm thinking, do I take the chance that we will literally just split the vote three ways and allow Bell Edwards another 4 years to continue taxing
the wasted vote syndrome?
Allow me to set your mind at ease, if I may, Matthew. Your vote is highly, and by highly, I'm talking about the way scientists talk about highly unlikely. Like statistically irrelevant. Astronomically irrelevant. You are not going to be the one vote that determines as to whether one side or the other happens. You cannot create you yourself cannot create a system where only two people can run. That is the government system, however it might be. So you can simply make a decision as to for whom you will vote. And I will guess that the outcome will be the same, whomever you vote for in this election, or if you choose not to go. Because there will not be a situation where one vote makes a difference. So you should vote the way your heart tells you to vote. And I'm with you. I'd be on the same horns of the same quandary. I like myself a good economic conservative, I get how my libertarian brethren get all upset when I'm saying, oh, but I like that economic conservative aspect of them.
Well, is this independent guy not economically conservative?
It's hard to say because on the one hand, he says he would sign these two things into law if the bills ever got to his desk. But on the other hand, you listen to him talk about other issues, and he makes the most TradCon conservative seem like, a early 20th century liberal.
Whoa! So what is this guy, like a theocrat?
No, like throw everybody in jail. And I'm like, yeah, I sort of understand the reaction to that because Bell Edwards let out a bunch of people from prison under the theory that they were too old to do any harm. The problem is you let people that you've kept in prison for 40 years out of prison when that's the only life they knew. Guess what they're more likely than not going to do?
Yeah, it's tough. Do the libertarians down there in Louisiana ever offer a candidate? Is there one? Do you know?
I think they've all committed suicide or something. I never hear anything from them.
Thanks for the
Maybe
call.
they moved to New Hampshire.
Yeah, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, there are some that have moved here. We've got a co-host, Melanie, who she's actually on maternity leave at the moment, but
congratulations to Melanie. Bob.
She made the move, and she's very, very happy. Even though it's a lot colder here, it's way more free for her, and so that's a good thing. So toll-free number tonight, 855-450, free like freedom. Turd Ferguson is on our Discord lines, on our Discord server, which you can access over at discord.lrn.fm. Go ahead, Turd, calling from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, guys, Turd Ferguson. What up, yo? What up? Yeah, so the reason why I'm calling in tonight was because I wanted to actually talk about this pretty cool thing that's going down here where I live in Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania, that I'm actually organizing right now.
Really? What's that?
So I have been in works with the local government here, it kind of sort of as a step one, I guess, just to get permission to use their radio tower here. It's a big 100-foot radio tower to start a low power FM community radio station here that I can kind of use as a nonprofit, but I mean I can kind of run, out of my house here as a business because that's where I've got the studio set up here, and then run the low power FM station here.
Are you talking about a legal FCC legal low power FM station?
LPFM is what they're called.
I'm talking about jumping through, working with the bureaucratic system, jumping through their legal process, doing my best to work with them, and doing this all legally.
Wow. Now, this is something that I remember looking at years ago, probably 15, 20 years ago, just to see, what are the fees? How do you apply? Now, of course, LPFM didn't exist back then. So do you know, is it easier to get an LPFM license than it is to get a commercial FM license?
Yeah, it's far easier. It's way less expensive.
How much are we talking about here?
Well, I mean, the license itself might be free as long as your application gets approved. But I mean, there is some bureaucratic hoops you have to jump through, though.
Do you have to hire an attorney? Because normally you think the way it's done is you have to hire like an FCC expert attorney to help you navigate the sort of morass of nebulous regulations that you have to get through in order to get that approval. Is it like that?
So. A lawyer specifically, I'm not so sure. I mean, it is really long and bureaucratic, but is it long enough and bureaucratic and complicated enough where you'd have to go in and hire a very expensive attorney? I'm not so sure.
Have you read it?
I've read some of it, yeah, and I should also say
when you say when you say you've read it, do you mean the regulations for LPFM or the application?
They post a bunch of the regulations on the FCC's website under the LPFM kind of part of the website, yeah. But there are consultancy groups as well, I should say.
I bet there are.
Free market consultancy groups that will actually walk you through this process.
Oh yeah,
no kidding. Yeah, but I mean, I grew up in sound engineering myself. I mean, I don't know the science of the airwaves itself that particularly well, but I mean that's something I can.
Now that nobody in radio does anyway. We got engineers for that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I mean there's already a guy here who works for the town bureaucracy, I guess, for maybe the local police or something like that. And he did this sort of satellite communication, microwave point house to radio tower and then radio tower dissemination into the public. He did that sort of thing as his career, and he's volunteered to help me on this.
That's great. So you've got a team. Okay. What's the vision here?
Well, ideally, and I would like to air Free Talk Live on the station, and I think that'll really help because it's such a small community. It's such a small town of 4,000 people, and I think that, and what Mark was just saying was really interesting, and this ties in really well to it. So he was just talking about how if one vote really statistically is irrelevant, it really doesn't matter, but in a town of 4,000 people.
It does make a difference in the town level.
And if you can influence 1,000 people among 4,000, you've made a big difference.
If you can influence, 500 or even a few hundred, that's in many cases enough to flip a primary election one way or another. Stand by, if you will, for just a moment, because I think it's an interesting conversation, and it leads to a question we've actually been debating off the air for a little while here behind the scenes on Free Talk Live. More coming up.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite for life. Pick up 2 tubes of Dogosuds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Dogosud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Dogosuds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You may bring up anything that you want here. We were talking about Trump and his order telling American businesses they ought to stop doing business with China, start looking for alternatives. We'll get back into that quote. It's a series of 4 tweets. We're through about half of it here. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, want to make sure you know about My Magic Mud. Mark, did you bring your My Magic Mud when you went over to Asia?
I brought the paste. I didn't bring the powder.
Toothpaste?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I love their toothpaste. It's one. I like the cinnamon flavor. Of course, I haven't tried the other flavors yet, but I like the cinnamon. They got different ones, but the cool thing about My Magic Mud is it's clinically proven to whiten your teeth, and it's natural. Black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clay. It's available in most health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart's Natural Beauty aisle. This company started from scratch. They were making their product in their home years ago when we first encountered them at the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and they've had tremendous success and growth since then, and I presume that's because it does what it says it's going to do. You don't get into Walmart if you're some kind of a joke, right? So
No, they're the big time now. They went from a product that we just were talking about on the air at one point to now they're available in major retailers.
But you don't have to go anywhere to get your My Magic Mud. You can just go to their website at mymagicmud.com and then use code FTL20.
And you get a discount.
You save 20%. And if you buy enough stuff, you can get free shipping as well. And it doesn't take much to get to the free shipping level. mymagicmud.com, code FTL20.
A tub of it can last you 6 months easily.
That's the My Magic Mud, their original
powder. That's what I recommend at the very least for people to start. You can buy all the other stuff
That's
you want.
because you don't have to use it every day.
It's great.
Yeah.
But the powder is sort of the fundamental of their oral health program.
Sure. You'll go through the toothpaste faster if you're using it daily. With the powder, you don't have to use every day. So mymagicmud.com, code FTL20. We go back to Turd Ferguson. He's calling from his hometown there in Pennsylvania, saying that you're excited about putting together a low-power FM station. You're trying to do this legally, so you're not doing, unlicensed broadcasting. And
that's what I'm attempting to do. Yeah.
And you've just gotten into this. I mean, how much research, how much time have you poured into just trying to figure out the legal obedience aspects of this?
So I've been researching this for years. I started researching this I called Free Talk Live in, I think, 2014, saying that I was going to start doing this. And originally I was going to do this in New Hampshire. And I left New Hampshire after I moved here. But so now I'm doing it in Pennsylvania. But yeah, I've poured in quite many years researching this. And then speaking, My Magic Mud, talk about a radio success story. That's the power of radio right there.
Sure.
I mean, the Nielsen statistics talk about, 10-to-1 return on investment, higher than any other, digital or traditional form of marketing. But then for retail, it goes up to like 20-to-1. And that'll really benefit the local businesses around here too in Shrewsbury. And that's another reason why I'm doing this too. I mean, this is a good way to make
They got to stick with it though. You can't just, hop on the radio, put a couple of, $1,000 in, see what the heck happens.
One mention isn't going to cut it.
No, it's not going to do it. You got to stay
it's the long
month
term.
after month. You got to have a good campaign that catches people's idea because you got to get the right message to the right person at the right time. I may not be looking for a car today. I may be looking next year. But somebody's looking for it today. And you've got to have a message that stands out. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's long-term branding and radio, and nothing really beats radio for that. I mean, I run the digital marketing business here out of my house. But
they say in the business that no other form of media, old media at least, can drive internet traffic like a radio advertisement can.
Oh, it definitely does. It makes the perfect start of a sales funnel of anyone's marketing funnel.
But we're not here to pitch radio to everybody because hopefully you all already
these are the things we know
are into that. But low power FM. Let's just say talk briefly about what this is because it is a relatively new thing as far as the FCC's codes and regulations are concerned. I think it came out within the last 15 years or so, maybe 20 at most. The idea is. Well, there's all these mega corporations that have big transmitters, 10,000, 100,000 watt, 50,000 watt transmitters. Those are very expensive to operate. These companies are, big moneyed companies. It's almost impossible for the little guy to get into the broadcast world, not just because of the regulations and the obedience and having to jump through all these ridiculous FCC hoops, but just because there's a very limited amount of frequencies that the FCC lets out. You can't even get a frequency in many cases. You can't even apply in many cases. So it's basically a system that's built to keep people out of it. And so somebody pitched this idea to them. I don't know if it was Prometheus. There's like a radio, sort of like a indie radio group that was really pushing this, and they got it somehow. It's essentially, I think it's limited up to 250 watts. It's an FM thing, and it's only what they call non-commercial, meaning that in the world of radio, there's non-commercial stations and then there's commercial stations. And the commercial stations can play whatever kind of commercial advertising they want to. Come on down to Johnny's Auto Yard and buy our special sale.
Our cars are the best.
Right. That's what you call a call to action.
And a superlative.
And a superlative, claiming that they're the best. So those are two things that you can't do when it comes to a sponsorship.
Terry Gross will never call something the best.
Right. So if you look at
NPR.
And you can see this on like public television as well, where Mr. Rogers was brought to you by, and then they say Volvo or whatever, and they can say things about
Underwriting is what that's called.
Right. Well, it's sponsorship.
Yeah.
They can say things about the company like Volvo's website is blah, 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 and they can say that they've just released the new Volvo models for 2012 or whatever it was. And
rated the safest cars in the world by J.D. Powers and Associates or whatever.
Now you're saying safest?
They could probably say that they were rated that.
You're getting into the questionable territory.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to go into this, because you said you'd love to air Free Talk Live on your low-power FM station. And we would love for that to be the case as well. But what's not really clear, and maybe you have an opinion about this, because I've gotten different opinions from people in the non-commercial radio world about this, is, okay, we know you can't do a superlative. We know you can't do a call to action in a commercial. But I've had one guy tell me he thinks that you can do it, or that it can be done in a program or as part of program content that the station itself didn't create. Meaning, if there's a commercial break and you got 30 and 60-second ads or whatever, or sponsorships in the case of non-commercials, ads won't work, but sponsorships would be fine there. But in a program that you, the station itself, did not make, so Free Talk Live or Democracy Now! Or one of these other shows, Tom Hartman, if there's a call to action in the midst of the show, like when we do a live read for My Magic Mud and tell people that they should go and get 20% off, that somehow would pass muster. I've had one guy tell me, no, it wouldn't, and they could, somebody could complain about your station, and another guy who was like, yeah, well, it might work out. He thought that it would be okay to do that. What's your opinion?
Okay, so that's a great question. Okay, so let me answer that in two points, and I hope I don't forget your question after my first point, and remind me after.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the first point let me make about this is you might even be able to push that call to action clause to the point where you can say, we'll see you tonight, or something like that, because that's not technically a call to action under the definition of one.
Well, now you're talking about rewriting the advertisement to avoid calls to action.
Exactly.
And that's something that could be done, but the question is, can a program not issued by your station, so just something you're playing back that was made somewhere else, that has a call to action in it, can that be aired? That's what I would like to know, and it's something that you can look into and let us know what you think later. Thank you for the call tonight, Turd, and good luck.
Sure.
More coming up. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the program. We got more on the Donald Trump order against American businesses. He says you ought to stop doing business with China, or at least start looking for other alternatives. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com, where we've got a variety of different features, and one of those is our user forum. You can go to forum.freetalklive.com. You can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners there. And like all the other features on our site, it is completely free. So that's forum.freetalklive.com. You know, I could have kept talking with Turd Ferguson about radio stuff for the rest of the show, so I wanted to make sure we moved on here. But actually, turns out other people have that same topic they want to discuss. Let's talk to John, listening in Virginia to WLNI in Lynchburg on FM. Hello, John.
Yeah, I was just wondering why he wouldn't do some of the things that you're doing, like start a online radio station, and then maybe evolve into the low power once he has everything up that he's already doing.
Actually, he's done that. The gentleman we were speaking with, Turd Ferguson, actually does have an online radio station. He didn't mention that during his call, but he does.
But that's very popular in this area, and a lot of folks are doing their own thing online. So
really,
anyway,
you've got more than one. You're saying you've got more than one online radio station that originates in Lynchburg, and is it Lynchburg focused, or is it just some guy playing his favorite music?
It's a little of both. Mm-hmm. You know, with the computers the way they are today and digital the way it is, you can pretty much program whatever you want to and let it just run. You don't have to be there anymore. And that's the way a lot of radio stations are operating now, especially the oldie stations. They just, have folks do the read-ins and run them over and over and over and over and over again. So, but that seems like a more logical way to do that. But like you said, I didn't know that he already was doing that.
Yeah, so he's got that taken care of.
Right, you could do the programming now. It used to be you had to wait till you got the signal to do the programming. Right. Now you can start your programming.
And flip on the transmitter.
And then flip on a transmitter later.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way folks driving around can pick it up and they don't have to worry about, trying to use data up. So
yeah, it's still true that radio is the best way to listen to something. It's the easiest way. It's still faster. Even today in 2019, flipping on a radio is going to get you a signal faster than having to fumble around with some player on a phone and make sure you get your Bluetooth connected. And if you don't have Bluetooth, you got to plug in a wire, and it's just like it's a big hassle still to listen in the car for online stuff.
And it doesn't cost a couple of $100 a year like, the satellite companies do. So, but anyway, just my 2 cents.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight, John. I appreciate hearing from you. Or costing money as far as you mentioned the data rate as well, because if you're sucking down 64 kilobits a second and you are a listener of heavy usage, you're probably going to go over your cap. If you've got one of those data caps, there's a good chance you're going to cross it.
Mm-hmm.
And at 64K isn't a whole lot of bit rate. 855, 450 free. Let's go to Vernon in Louisiana. Vernon, you're on Free Talk Live.
So I've been following LPFM and creating a station since, 2002 probably.
Okay, so it's been about 20 years.
And I just wanted to... I'm sorry?
I said it has been since about the turn of the century. I was trying to remember when the LPFM thing happened.
So in order to get one, you have to apply during a 1 or 2 week window set by the FCC. You have no idea when it's going to be set. You have to have a nonprofit that's been established for at least 3 years in order to even be considered. And you have to go through all of those engineering surveys and pay all that money to even find spectrum that is
How much
available.
money are we talking about? I'm glad you brought up the engineering surveys because I didn't ask Turd Ferguson about that.
Well,
what does it cost to hire these people?
If you hire Prometheus and you're more progressive or right or left leaning, they'll do it for free. They have staff. But if you're more libertarian or maybe right wing, you may not have those outlets that a lot of community radio stations have a more liberal point of view. And so anyways, I just wanted to clarify that it's not just okay, I got this 100-foot tower. The other problem.
Well, no, hold on before you go on. I mean, you sound like somebody who's done a lot of research into this. So, did you ever call one of the engineering? Did you ever call one of the engineering firms and ask them what does it cost to have you come out and do whatever engineering things you need to do to give me the report I need to have so I can make this application with the FCC, presuming they're going to open the application window?
I researched it and talked to other stations that were pursuing that, but I never personally did that because I've not gotten my nonprofit off the ground enough.
I'm going to guess it's thousands. I'm going to guess it's thousands of dollars.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. These are very specialized engineers, and they have to look through the studies. But I think they have some specialized software that kind of helps isolate where the signal is. But the other thing I wanted to add was going LPFM. I don't think is worth it because your signal. Depending on how high off the ground you are, as you probably know, your signal has to be weaker and weaker. So if your antenna is several hundred feet off the ground, you're not going to go 250 watt. You're going to maybe be, 50, 75 watt. And you're lucky to pick up a station that's LPFM with like a car radio. I mean, the signal itself is terrible.
I disagree. I'm going to disagree with that there. Having had some experience with pirate radio with up to 50 watts of transmission power, as long as you've got a good antenna site, you can absolutely cover a town of 4,000 people.
Yeah.
He said it's only a 4,000 person town. You wouldn't be able to cover New York City, but
can you penetrate
pirate, of course, you're not constrained by the rules of the FCC. If you can put your tower up high and full power it, but with the FCC license, you can't do that. And so, anyways,
well, that's because That's because, as I understand it, the LPFM license is only going to be allowed to cover basically the city of license. So if you're
basically the downtown area of like maybe 10 square miles, if that. I mean, it's very
but I've seen 50
limited.
watts cover an entire the city of Keene, which is a city of 23,000 people.
He's just saying 10 square miles. It's probably that.
It's larger than whatever 4,000 people that dude was calling from in Pennsylvania. And I've seen 25 watts cover that entire area, and that's from inside of a barn. No more than one second story up. I mean, we're not talking about a real
tower. Can it penetrate a building?
Right. Well, and of course, there's so many variables, buildings and line of sight and all of that. So I'm just talking about in general. There is an LPFM station here in New Orleans, and you basically have to be near its transmitter, even with like an FM radio on my phone. So, but the last thing I wanted to add was the underwriting. You've got to have that underwriting. If you don't, I don't think that the ads that you all have at the beginning of each segment would be appropriate.
No, they don't qualify.
LPFM myself.
Yeah, they don't qualify as non-commercial promotions or whatever you want to call them.
But instead, maybe they could do some sort of show promotion like the Discord or the ANT program or something.
Well, now you're talking about us reformatting the show to not.
No. I'm saying that the station could sub your ads for those.
It'd be too hard with live ads because
He's not talking about the lives. He's talking about the.
He was
recorded.
talking about lives.
I don't think he was. Were you talking about the lives or the recorded content?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It would probably be difficult. But anyways, I just wanted to share that that there's a lot of bureaucracy
Oh,
and a
I
lot of
believe
money
it.
that's involved.
Yeah, that's why
And
I
they-
was
and they-
asking him. I wonder what it's going to actually cost when it's all said and done, presuming he can even get the approval. How many thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars is he going to be,
Oh, yeah.
sinking into this thing?
And you're not going to make anything unless you do cover New York City or a very urban area that is
I'm
very
going to disagree
supportive of
with
the
you
station.
there. I'll disagree with you on that because a lot of these non-coms are doing very well. The rules of sponsorship with the FCC have been loosened over time. They're not as strict as they used to be, and a lot of these non-coms, because they're not paying a whole lot on the power
Are you
bill.
talking about NPR or a Christian-based radio station? Yes,
No,
because they rake in the donation. But I'm talking about like a little bitty community LPFM.
Yeah.
It is tough. Seriously,
I'm
it
not
is
saying
really
it's going to
tough.
be easy, but I know that. And thank you for the call tonight, Vernon. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Business isn't necessarily an easy thing to do, but if he's the local option in a small town, let's say the only other ones are like mega corporations, like what used to be Clear Channel, iHeartMedia now, or Cumulus or whatever. He's going to be able to go into the advertisers. He can listen to all the other stations, pick up their advertisers, go into all those shops and say, you can go on to my station for a tenth of the cost because he's going to have the same amount of overhead, and do it. They've been, some of these non-coms have been very successful. And I'm not talking about mega commercial, mega non-coms or whatever. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have 2 convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Enough here for your call if you want to dial in. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Maybe we'll get through the rest of this Donald Trump 4-tweet series that he shot out earlier, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday it looks like. Ordering American businesses to find a new product source rather than China. With you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com. Please enjoy the various features you will find there completely free. And also, don't forget to check out Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree over at victimlesscrimespree.com. It's coming up. Next month will be the 7th anniversary of its theatrical release way back in 2012. So we're got about 2-3 weeks away from that anniversary. So if you haven't seen Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, or you have seen it and you want to watch it again and maybe bring a new friend and introduce it to your loved ones or whatever, go to victimlesscrimespree.com. You can watch it there. And yes, you can still order through eBay. You can still order the Director's Cut DVD, and it is very, very affordable, even though there's only about 100 of them left that you can possibly get your hands on, at least through the new market. But you can get those on eBay. Go to victimlesscrimespree.com, and you can link to that on the order page there. But you can watch it for free in full online, so please do that. As we go to your calls and thoughts over to San Francisco. Stephen, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, no, actually, it's David.
Oh, hello, David. They got your name wrong. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Sure. Hey, a couple of things. I heard you talking about micropower radio there. Yep. I got started in radio when I was still a teenager, and I learned that during World War II, anybody, actually almost since the beginning of radio and the FCC, you could have a 10-watt station for free. There was no licensing at all, and it was actually kind of common for kids in a neighborhood to just set up in their garage or their attic or, in the bedroom or something like that, a little radio station, and it would pretty much just go a few blocks from the house. And during World War II, that was actually encouraged. Far from like post 9/11, where everybody was thinking that spies and saboteurs would have little radio stations. It was actually considered a civil defense necessity to be able to communicate with your neighbors, with radio. And so the idea of micropower radio is still somewhat going by that basis. And so the idea of having I guess it's 100 watts now, but 10 watts was kind of common back in the old days. And that was probably also because there were so few radio stations that there was just no chance that you'd bleed. And 10 watts might actually get a little further than just a couple of blocks.
Yeah, it's my understanding that FM, the wattage is lower than it is on AM as far as these micro stations go. But you're right, you can put up radio stations without a license. It just has to do with the wattage and that sort of thing. But
you're talking about amount of wattage that can't go farther than your house or next door, basically. That's what's legal today without permission from the FCC.
No, you could go further than that, especially if you lived on the top of a hill.
Not with FM.
But you couldn't go.
Not with a tenth or a 100th of a watt on FM. Even on the top of a hill, you're not going to go that far.
No, it's not 100th of a watt. It was 100 watts.
Yeah, you're talking about something that's. We're talking about two different things. Then, Mark, you started talking about what they call Part 15 broadcasting. That's where there's no firm limit on FM. It has to do with how far whatever the signal penetration is. With AM, I think it's like a tenth of a watt is about what they can do legally. The 100 watts that you're referring to, you may be thinking about like low power FM, which I believe goes up to 100 or 250, one or the other. I forget which one it is. But that's a different thing. That's a licensed thing that the FCC does. Whereas if somebody wanted to run a radio station unlicensed legally, it would have to conform to Part 15, which is very, very restrictive.
Yeah, but it's not 100th of a watt. It's up to 100. I think as you were talking about
for
LPFM,
what? You're talking about LPFM?
Well, LPFM, as you said, it was 100 to 250. But so
no, it's up to
100.
I think it's up to 250. But there's nothing that is legally allowed below 100 watts until you get very, very low. Like if you might have seen, like back in the day, they had those cassette tapes that you'd plug into your car stereo that would then be essentially would be hooked up to like a transmitter, tiny little transmitter. That was a legal transmitter, and those things did not go much further than the car next to you. So.
Oh, I know. I picked one up in a yard sale not too long ago.
Thank you for the call tonight, David. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. Yeah, if people are interested in that, what they want to look for is what's called Part 15. And there's a bunch of kind of like radio dork hobbyists who like to do the Part 15 broadcast thing just because they don't want to break the rules. They want to try to be as obedient as they possibly can. They get a kick out of the idea of the FCC coming sniffing around looking for their radio station, and then they would open the door and say, "Come on in, sir. You can inspect my Part 15 operation. I believe this is completely legal." So they're interested in being as obedient as they possibly can. Then, of course, there are the pirate broadcasters who don't care about that crap. They believe in the freedom to broadcast, and they're going to broadcast at whatever frequency they want. Hopefully, they're not stepping on somebody else's existing broadcast, because that will end the fun much faster. And they just set up shop wherever they feel like it and play whatever it is they want to play. And that's the way it ought to be. That's what freedom's like.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how freedom of speech and the Constitution and FCC rules kind of intermesh. We really haven't seen that. There's never been a case that kind of really addressed whether or not, because if you have the right to freedom of speech, don't you have the right to freedom of speech on the radio? So long as you're not stepping on somebody else's broadcast.
Yep. That's a property rights thing.
That's a property rights. But if so, then, well, the FCC has been making a lot of money for a very long time selling these licenses.
Yeah, they have.
License, could be described as taking your freedom away and then selling it back to you.
Yeah, very few people want to fight the FCC on this. And again, thank you for the call, David. Appreciate it. Very few people want to fight the FCC. We actually were just talking about, I think it was last night, maybe it was the night before. Anyway, there was a few different shows on television that got hit with mega fines by the FCC because they used the EAS tones, the Emergency Alert System tones, like in The Walking Dead, which is a fictional television show. They got fined over $100,000 by the FCC, and what I think they could have done if they wanted to was take the FCC to court and fight the fines rather than saying, "Well, we're a good little corporation, and we're going to pay whatever you ask for."
If they ask for a little enough, then they'll just get it because it's easier than
it's cheaper than hiring the attorneys.
If it's $100,000, it's probably cheaper.
I know that. I'm saying they could have gone to court and said, "This is freedom of speech. This is a fictional television show. We are a television network that's not even regulated as far as content is concerned, generally, by the FCC. That's not the same for a cable network as it is for an actual broadcaster." And they could have made that argument, and it might have stuck. But again, it would have taken years and years and God knows how much money in attorney's fees. Donald Trump's tweets continue. He says, after telling American companies to hereby ordered to start looking for alternatives to China, including bringing companies home, he says, "I will be responding to China's tariffs this afternoon. This is a great opportunity for the United States. Also, I'm ordering all carriers, including FedEx, Amazon, UPS, and the Post Office, to search for and refuse all deliveries of fentanyl from China or anywhere else. Fentanyl kills 100,000 Americans a year. President Xi said this would stop. It didn't. As though some president would be able to make a promise that he can somehow crack down on a drug. That they would somehow be able to stop this one drug from getting over here.
They can't stop drugs from getting into their prisons.
Right. It's ridiculous.
I mean,
the fentanyl problem rests completely at the doorstep of the American government and the DEA. If Donald Trump wants to stop fentanyl overdoses, if he's serious about that, he ought to end the drug scheduling and make it so heroin can be sold again legally in grocery stores or Walgreens or wherever it is that people want to sell it, because that's what's killing Americans. The fact that the drugs are illegal drives them underground and makes them more dangerous.
The equivalent of bathtub gin, you know, that poison people.
The heroin version of that.
It's the heroin version of that, and that's what the issue is here. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of my son taking up heroin as a habit, but let's not forget the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. This country was built by people who had legal access to opiates, and somehow we still became the greatest nation on earth. If you're a proud patriot, you're a proud patriot because of people who had legal access to heroin.
Including children.
Yeah. I mean, you know, kids were going to the store and buying cigarettes. Somehow, still built the great nation that was the United States.
We will be back tomorrow night. If you did not get the chance to call in, you can always do it tomorrow because we're here live all 7 nights a week. And you can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. Don't forget, we got social media places that you can follow us. Our Twitter is over at twitter.freetalklive.com. Our Mastodon profile is at toot.freetalklive.com, or follow us on Telegram at telegram.freetalklive.com. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,498, silver at $17.05, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,180. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at noscale.net. In the news, a rather shocking study published this month by the Proceedings of the National Academy of the Sciences names police officers as the sixth leading cause of death among young men. Activist Post reports that police killings were only preceded in frequency by accidental death, a category that includes drug overdoses and car accidents, at 76.6 deaths per 100,000, followed by suicide, other homicides, heart disease, and cancer. The killings by police include shooting, choking, beating, and various other ways that police have taken the lives of Americans. Even more damning than finding out that police are a leading cause of death for young men is the fact that the lead researcher of the study and an assistant professor at the School of Criminal Justice at Rutgers University, Frank Edwards, says the numbers may be an undercount. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Amazon rainforest had been on fire for several weeks, and Brazil's right-wing President Bolsonaro suggested Wednesday, without evidence, that the fires were started by non-governmental organizations. The Mind Unleashed quotes Bolsonaro as saying, quote, "Maybe, I am not affirming it, these NGO people are carrying out some criminal actions to draw attention against me, against the government of Brazil," end quote. Adding that, quote, "The fires were lit in strategic places. All the indications suggest they went there to film and start fires. That's what I feel," end quote. Greenpeace Brazil shot back, with its public policy coordinator, Marcio Astrini, calling the president's statement sick and pitiful. In a video that's gone viral, a Brazilian woman expressed anguish as she pointed to the destruction the fires have brought, which she blamed on deforestation for cattle ranching, a practice that Bolsonaro has actively encouraged. The video was shared by the U.S.-based Sunrise Movement, which said in a tweet, quote, "We cannot tolerate political agendas of deforestation. We will not watch our future burn away," end quote.